Welcome to this explainer. Let's kick things off with a number that might actually shock you a bit: 35%. Specifically, 35% wrench time. Now, if you hear that and think it sounds pretty terrible, well, here is the wild part. To most maintenance crews, operating at 35% wrench time actually feels like a highly productive, wildly busy day. No one's goofing off, no one's taking extra long breaks, everyone has an assignment, and they are legitimately working hard. But as we're going to see, this feeling of busyness is actually an illusion hiding a massive missed opportunity. So what's really fascinating about what we're digging into today is how we actually move past that illusion of busyness to completely shatter the status quo of industrial efficiency. We're looking for the missing link that moves maintenance operations from just being good to becoming truly great. To get there, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll tackle the good to great dilemma. Then we'll look at the power of specialization. After that, we'll uncover the missing element of coordination. And finally, we'll wrap up with how planning brings it all together. All right, let's jump right into part one, the good to great dilemma. There's a famous idea from Jim Collins that hits the nail on the head here. Good is the enemy of great. Really think about that for a second. It's actually not laziness that holds an organization back, is it? More often than not, it's success. A good plant is usually profitable. The crews are successfully getting their highly visible, reactive work done, and they might even be squeezing in some preventative maintenance, too. Because they're successfully doing all this, there simply isn't a burning, compelling reason to change. It's kind of like swimming across a big lake. If you can dog paddle well enough to get across safely, maintaining that status quo, why on earth would you risk drowning to learn a brand new, super efficient swimming stroke right in the middle of the water? What if the new stroke doesn't work? You could sink. And that fear perfectly explains the organizational inertia blocking us from greatness. It is incredibly scary to change a system that's currently keeping your head above water, even if a new system could literally make you an Olympic swimmer. Moving right along to section 2, the power of specialization. Let's travel back in time just a bit to look at a fundamental organizational superpower we all rely on today, which is specialization. Basically, divisions of labor where different people perform different tasks to offer huge improvements in overall productivity. This is the absolute bedrock of modern industry, a concept we mastered centuries ago to drive massive output. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of what this achieves, look at Adam Smith's famous 1776 study of an industrial pin factory. Smith realized that if one person did every single step, they'd make, fewer than 20 pins a day. But by specializing 18 distinct tasks into 10 specific jobs, production absolutely exploded to 48,000 pins in a single day. That's a jump from 20 to 4,800 pins per person, just an unbelievable leap in productivity. And obviously, industry still relies heavily on this exact principle today. We don't hire a bunch of generic jacks of all trades for our modern plant floors, right? We train, hire, and maintain separate, dedicated groups of experts: mechanics, electricians, instrument techs, machine shop operators. As long as there's enough distinct work to keep them busy, specialization makes total sense. But here's where we hit a massive blind spot, bringing us to section 3, the missing element: coordination. If we look really closely at the true definition of an organization, it is defined as a group of coordinated, specialized persons with a common goal. Now, we all easily grasp the specialized persons part and the common goal part. We all want a safe, profitable business, sure. But look at that word right in the middle: coordinated. We have almost completely forgotten how to actually do that. Typically, we set up our operations perfectly for specialization. We have a superintendent overseeing isolated shops, building and grounds over here, mechanics over there, electricians in another corner. We understand this perfectly. We build these specialized departments all day long, but without a dedicated planning function built into the mix to bridge leadership and those specialized crews, we just fail completely at coordination. What we end up with are isolated experts essentially just waiting around to be told what to do. So the really crucial takeaway here is that specializing, it is absolutely not a competitive edge anymore. Why? Because literally every single company does it. Simply having a great electrician or a great mechanic is just the bare minimum now. But effectively coordinating those experts, that is incredibly rare. If you get that right, you could literally double your plant's productivity. It is your true competitive edge. And that brings us to our final part, section 4. Planning brings it all together. You see, planning isn't just a bunch of administrative paperwork. It's the proactive engine of the whole organization. Before a supervisor even assigns a job to a crew, a planner steps in to execute 4 vital steps. First, they judge the proper scope of work, like do we just patch this noisy valve or completely replace it? Second, they identify the required materials and actually ensure they're available. Third, they specify the exact craft skills needed. And fourth, they estimate the task time. Doing this in advance prevents those massive delays where a crew gets to a site and realizes they brought the wrong tools, the wrong parts, or lack the right expertise. When you integrate it properly, planning sits right smack in the middle of the entire maintenance ecosystem. It takes inputs from engineering, operations, and preventative maintenance, and it coordinates the scope, the hours, the parts, and the tools to feed the actual work execution. It really acts as the central coordinating brain for the entire specialized system. Which brings us to the ultimate business case here. By injecting a dedicated planning function to coordinate your experts, your crew, totally shatters that 35% wrench time illusion we talked about at the very beginning. You dramatically increase your maintenance force's productivity. And because they're suddenly more productive, they can actually handle additional proactive work, which in turn seriously reduces that endless stressful cycle of reactive emergency fixes. It boosts your overall production capacity without adding a single extra mechanic to the payroll. So I want you to look at your own operations today. Think back to that comfortable dog paddle you and your team have been doing just to stay afloat. Are you willing to overcome the inertia and risk learning a new stroke? Because if you don't master coordination, your specialized experts are essentially just waiting in the dark. So is your plant brain to stay just good, or are you ready to coordinate your way to great? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.